Hello there guys, welcome to another of my live videos, and on this video there is lots to negotiate about. So I am going to be giving you a list of players from the Bundesliga who are likely to make transfers to the Premier League and that. And these are around 9 or 10, I think, Bundesliga's players that are set to make moves to the Premier League. So we will go through it now. Definitely, Timo Werner, I think, is set to make a move to the Premier League. Obviously, as you all know, my club, Manchester United, have been interested in him. Also, to Chelsea have expressed their interest in Timo Werner. Like I updated you, was it a couple of days ago? It did say from the Daily Mail and I think a few other media outlets, it said that, us and Chelsea had been in contact with Timo Werner's agent. But I'll reiterate what I mentioned on my video yesterday night. Timo Werner won't come to Man United. He won't go to Chelsea. He's obviously confirmed that he wants to go to Liverpool. So he'll turn down a move to Man United and Chelsea because he's already revealed his preference is a move to Liverpool. Obviously, it's said not too long ago that Liverpool were in advanced talks with the player over a possible transfer, and he actually said that Liverpool had offered him a 5-year contract with around £9 million per year plus bonuses involved. And also too, don't forget Timo Werner has rejected a move to Bayern Munich, so he will not be remaining loyal in Germany, will Timo Werner, because so far he has spent the entirety of his career in Germany. But, don't forget, back in February, which was quite a few months ago now, Timo Werner, did describe Jurgen Klopp as one of the best managers in the world. So he'll only leave RB Leipzig if he can make a move to Liverpool. Now, obviously, it did actually, say Liverpool may not make any signings in the summer. So that did actually, say, reflect on that Liverpool, may not be able to then get Timo Werner. And I think for Liverpool to get Timo Werner anyway, they have got to sell one of their attacking trio in either Salah, Firmino or Mane. But even if Timo Werner doesn't go to the Premier League in the summer, I think he may go next year, or he may go in the next couple of years' time, to be quite honest with you. Timo Werner is available for around £52 million, because that's his release clause in his RB Leipzig contract. So he's a cheap solution, is Timo Werner. Like I said, he's into his 4th season now with RB Leipzig. He has scored 88 goals in 150 appearances in all competitions. He's still under contract with them until 2023. So Timo Werner's still got around 2.5, 3 years remaining on his contract. Don't forget, Timo Werner became the youngest player to reach 200 Bundesliga appearances. And he's only, the age of 23, 24. Leipzig only paid around, I think it was around €10 million for him from Stuttgart back in 2016. He was also a very, very good player for Stuttgart, became the youngest player to ever represent them, and also became their youngest ever goal scorer. Werner as well's versatility is very, very good. You can play him centrally, you can play him on the left wing, and you can also play him on the right wing. So, yeah. But Liverpool will hope they can get a deal over the line for the player. Don't forget, like I said to you, Liverpool recently asked Timo Werner's representatives to give them a bit more time to submit a bidding, because don't forget, like I said, Liverpool put their summer spending on hold recently. But yeah, if he leaves RB Leipzig, I think he will make a move to Liverpool. So yeah, he's one player from the Bundesliga that I think is going to be coming to the Premier League. Also to another player from RB Leipzig, and that is Dayot Upamecano. Now I think he's going to be coming to the Premier League as well. Now the RB Leipzig sporting director, he came out not too long ago and he said that Dayot Upamecano will leave RB Leipzig if he does not agree a new contract. He also said the same thing with Timo Werner. Now, reportedly as well, RB Leipzig have lowered their asking price for Dayot Upamecano. Now, I think they've lowered their asking price by around £17 million. So, reportedly, I think Dayot Upamecano is available for around £30-odd million. Dayot Upamecano's release clause is around, £53 million in his RB Leipzig contract. I think he's into the final year now of his contract because his current contract does expire in the summer of 2021. Is he what, 20 or 21 years of age? He's a centre half, his Dayot Upamecano. And my club, Manchester United, have been in for him. Also, to Arsenal have expressed their interest, to be quite honest with you. I don't think, we're going to sign a centre half anyway in the summer, so I don't think we'll get Dayot Upamecano. I think maybe Arsenal have got a better chance of getting him on the board. But we've got a lot of centre halves in our team, like I've mentioned before. We've got Harry Maguire and Victor Lindelof that are our first choice centre halves. We've got Bay and Tuanzebe that are our backup centre halves. And obviously, we've got Foster Mensah that can play as a centre half. Phil Jones, he's like our fifth or sixth choice centre half. But obviously, he's one of the players that's expected to leave Man United in this summer. Probably will get rid of Smalling and Rojo on permanent transfers. They're also centre halves that we had. So that would make more room to get a centre half. And if we did get rid of them, but I just don't think Manchester United, will get a centre half in. I think now he's into his third season with RP Leipzig. His Dayot Upamecano. I think he's made around 70 odd appearances in the Bundesliga. I think Leipzig did pay around, was it £9 or £10 million for him from Red Bull Salzburg. But yeah, so I think he's another player that's set to leave the Bundesliga. Now, another player, and that's Jadon Sancho. Now, we have been keeping you up to date of what's been going on with Jadon Sancho on a regular basis. Obviously, you saw my videos that I did regarding Jadon Sancho yesterday, and it was stemming from Marcotte, who's an Italian journalist, and he revealed that a source close to him says that Jadon Sancho would prefer to move back home to London. And like I've said to you, Chelsea have been in for Jadon Sancho. Like I said, if Jadon Sancho goes back to London, he will make a move to Chelsea. Because like I said, he won't go to Arsenal, he won't go to Tottenham, and he won't make a return back to Watford. Because when Jadon Sancho was young, he began his career with Watford, and he was at Watford for several years. But despite, what was coming out of, out of the mainstream media yesterday, we're still emerged as the favourites to sign Jadon Sancho. Now, we do know he's going to cost us at least £100 million. And even due to the coronavirus pandemic and stuff like that, Borussia Dortmund do remain ruthless over their valuation. But I think we've already made it clear we are not willing to smash our transfer record to sign Jadon Sancho. I think it said we're only willing to pay in the £80 million range for the player. Now, like I updated you on my final video that I did yesterday night, it says, we might wait another 12 months before we sign Jadon Sancho. So basically, we have delayed, signing him this summer. So we may wait until 2021 because maybe in 2021, maybe it'll get him a bit cheaper than £100 million and stuff like that. Also, too, by the way, it's come out of the mainstream media today saying that Jadon Sancho has spoken about he's spoken about his sacrifices in Germany, living away from, his family and his friends and that. So that's obviously, fueled quite a bit of speculation up. But obviously, it did say the other week that Jadon Sancho's preference would be a move to Manchester United if he was to leave Borussia Dortmund. There's still some reports saying that Liverpool are in for the player. Now, don't forget, it did say, we're willing to offer Jadon Sancho the number 7. Like I said to you, we've had a lot of good number 7s up and down the generations, but our recent number 7s haven't been so good because Sanchez was so inconsistent. Also, too, Depay, he enjoyed a very, very difficult time at the football club under Louis van Gaal era. So, yeah, we are willing to offer him the number 7. But like Fabrizio Romano broke out a while back, he says we've been in contact with Jadon Sancho's agent for quite some time. We've also been working on his contract. It also did say if Jadon Sancho is to be sold in the summer, then City will benefit from it because reportedly, City do get around, I think, 15% of the transfer fee due to the couple of clauses. So, there you go. But Jadon Sancho is one of our priority targets. Like I said to you, quite a few players from the Bundesliga have gone to the Premier League anyway in recent years. A few players have left Dortmund. Dortmund let Pulisic go to Chelsea. They let Aubameyang go to Arsenal. They also let Kagawa go. They let Ilkwan Gundogan go, so let's just put that into the equation. But like I said, Jadon Sancho is into his third season at Borussia Dortmund. Gotta say, since his arrival in Germany, he has been a revelation. Sancho still got a contract with Borussia Dortmund until 2022, so still got a couple of years remaining on his contract. Dortmund only paid around £7 million in from Man City back in 2017, so if Dortmund sell him, they will make a huge profit on the player. They will make a huge profit on the player if they do sell Jadon Sancho. And like I said to you, the beneficial things about us recommending him in is that, he's well proven in the Premier League, because Sancho did endure 2 years with Man City, but he never got assured any first team opportunities at Man City, and that's the main explanation why he left City to join Dortmund. Obviously, Borussia Dortmund is the third club in his playing career. Another beneficial thing about us recommending him in is that, he's got a really, really good friendship with Marcus Rashford, and I think Sancho would go really, really well alongside Marcus Rashford in our attacking line. And he'd go well alongside Greenwood and Anthony Martial. And he's predominantly a right winger. And don't forget, Manchester United are in search for a right winger. So there you go. But it actually said quite a few weeks ago, that we'd agreed everything with Jadon Sancho except the fee. He says the only thing that hadn't been agreed was the fee, but he said the personal terms had been agreed, his buyout clause had been agreed, and everything else had been agreed except the fee. But we are still emerged as the favourites to sign him, even though, he prefers a move back to London, does the player. But he definitely will leave Borussia Dortmund. I think he's been back in training with Borussia Dortmund as Jadon Sancho. So there you go. So I think, he's definitely going to be leaving the Bundesliga. But I think Jadon Sancho also revealed that he is a lifelong Chelsea fan. But there you go. So he's another player who's going to leave the Bundesliga. Now, another player who I think is going to leave the Bundesliga is Erling Haaland. And he also too plays for Borussia Dortmund. Now, like I said to you before, it was a shame that we didn't sign Erling Haaland back in the January transfer window, because he would have been an Ole Gunnar Solskjaer type signing, would Erling Haaland. It would have been an Ole Gunnar Solskjaer type signing. And don't forget, back in January, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer and Ed Woodward, went to meet up with Erling Haaland to discuss a possible move to Manchester United. And it was a cheap solution as well. Haaland was available for around £17 million. But obviously, Al Finch, Haaland, his father, came out a while back and gave a couple of the main explanations why Erling Haaland, decided not to come to Manchester United, because we had no Champions League football to offer. Plus, there's been a lot of uncertainty over Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's future, so this is probably why he didn't come, to Manchester United. Obviously, Solskjaer was keen on a reunion with the player, because Solskjaer, I think, gave him his debut around 3 years ago when he was at Molde. He gave him his debut and stuff like that. I think he was just the age of 16 then, was Erling Haaland. Now, he's got around, I think, a 63 million release clause in his contract with Dortmund. He has got a contract with Dortmund till 2024. Reportedly, though, this release clause won't be active, though, until 2022, which is a couple of years away yet. So, yeah, but I still think, Erling Haaland will make a move to the Premier League. Even if he doesn't leave Dortmund this summer, I think he will eventually, make a move to the Premier League. Also, too, Alaba from Bayern Munich. I think he's recently, been linked to a move to Chelsea as is it David Alaba or something like that. I think, he's another player that's set to make a move to the Premier League. Also to Manuel Neuer. I think he's also another player that could be set to make a move to the Premier League. So there's quite a few there. Also to Mario Götze. I think he plays for Dortmund, if I'm right. He's another player that's set to make a move to the Premier League from the Bundesliga. So yeah, these actually know quite a lot, to be quite honest with you. So there you go. And there might be a few others as well that I haven't mentioned, but that's how it is. Probably because I can't remember them all, to be quite honest with you. But I think I've mentioned most of them anyway. So there you go. Also, too, by the way, I want to might put this on my title of my video as well. We have got these 5 Jadon Sancho transfer alternatives that could save Manchester United millions. That's been reported in the Manchester Evening News today. What I mean is, there's 5 players that would be much cheaper solutions than Jadon Sancho. So if we had to miss out on Jadon Sancho, then maybe we could look into the possibility of getting one of those 5 players. It's mentioned in the Manchester Evening News that, Memphis Depay, he may be a good alternative to Sancho and he would be a cheaper solution, but I wouldn't want Memphis Depay back at Manchester United. I wouldn't take him back at the football club because don't forget we had him back under Louis van Gaal era. He was very, very inconsistent. I think Depay endured 2 years at the football club, but he was so inconsistent. But there again, never really got his opportunities. Didn't we get him for 25 million from PSV? I think it was somewhere along that figure, if I'm not exactly right. Obviously, had 2 years at Man United, then we sold him to Lyon. To be fair, since he's gone to Lyon, he has been a revelation in France as Depay, but I don't want him back at Manchester United. Also, too, Joshua King has been mentioned as well. He's a former Manchester United player. He actually, I think, began his senior career with Man United, but I don't think he ever played in the senior squad, if I'm right, did Joshua King. We obviously got him from Valerenga. Don't forget, revert back to the January transfer window. We went in for Joshua King because don't forget we was in search for a striker. We was in search for a striker. I think, if I'm right, didn't we put a £25 million bid in for him on deadline day back in January, but Bournemouth had turned this down because Bournemouth said they wanted around £50 million for him and we was reluctant to pay that. I think he's been at Bournemouth for a good 4 or 5 years now as Joshua King. I think he's scored 46 goals, is it, in 154 appearances. I think his contract does expire next year. Also, too, he's had quite a few loan spells. He had a loan spell at Preston, Blackburn, Hull, Borussia Mönchengladbach. He's had quite a few loan spells as Joshua King, and he is a centre forward. He's well proven in that in the Premier League. But yeah, he's a former Manchester United player, but he'd probably be available in the summer for around. You'd probably get him in the £30 million range. Joshua King, with him having a year left in his contract and that. But again, would be a much cheaper solution than Jadon Sancho. But like I said, it's very, very rare that players go back to their former clubs. We have seen it happen, but it is very, very rare, let's be honest. I think Varkes as well, however you pronounce his name, has been mentioned in the Manchester Evening News. Also, too, Ferran Torres from Valencia. I spoke with you about him, didn't I, the other week? He'd be a cheaper solution than Jadon Sancho. I think Ferran Torres, when I last read about him, he's got around an £80 million release clause in his Valencia contract. So you can say, he'd be a cheaper solution than Jadon Sancho. Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang, he's also been mentioned as well. And I've been talking with you about Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang on a regular basis. He'd be a much cheaper solution than Sancho because he said the other week that Arsenal had revealed their asking price for Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang, and reportedly they've said, they're willing to accept around £30 million for him, even though Aubameyang's worth at least double £30 million. Arsenal have come to accept the fact that Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang wants to leave because they've been in the process of trying to get Aubameyang, a new contract for quite some time. They've been trying to get him a contract for quite some time, but they know he's not going to sign a new contract at Arsenal. His current contract does expire in the summer of 2021, so Arsenal would want to cash in for Aubameyang this summer rather than letting go on a free transfer in the summer of 2021. So there you go. Maybe if he'd have had longer on his contract, then maybe, Arsenal would have said they wanted around £70 or £80 million for Aubameyang. Arsenal did pay £56 million for him from Borussia Dortmund back in January 2018. So they should at least recoup the £56 million that they paid for him. He's been at Arsenal over 2 years. Aubameyang's got 49 goals in 75 Premier League appearances, 61 goals in all competitions. And Aubameyang, is predominantly plays centrally, predominantly plays centrally, but you can also put him on the left wing. You can put him on the right wing. So his versatility is very, very good. Tony Adams came out and, he said he expects Aubameyang to leave Arsenal. Obviously, my club, Man United, have been in for him. Chelsea have been in for him. Madrid, Barcelona, it said the other week, Inter Milan were in for Aubameyang, and he negotiated with some Inter Milan players. But yeah, Aubameyang is expected to leave Arsenal, so I think he'd be a good alternative to Jadon Sancho, if I'm going to be quite honest with you. But yeah, and Aubameyang, I think, is now in his early 30s, isn't he? If I'm right. So yeah, they're the 5 alternatives, to Sancho, what could save us millions. By the way, I think it's Lucas Varkas or something like that. He's another player on our agenda as an alternative to Jadon Sancho and that. So there you go. That is the news on that. And I obviously know yesterday I gave you the news, didn't I, on Odin Ighalo. Reportedly now, we have cooled our interest in extending Odin Ighalo's loan at the football club, and obviously we've cooled our interest over getting him permanently, because I think we're waiting, to see when the season can resume, and then, we're going to open negotiations up with Shanghai Shenhua over extending his loan deal at the football club. We may not even get Odin Ighalo permanently, believe it or not. If we've got a chance of getting Werner, then maybe we could get rid of Ighalo, let him go back to Shanghai Shenhua or go somewhere else and get Werner in instead. But, Solskjaer did make the admission a while back saying that it's likely that we'll get Odin Ighalo on a permanent transfer. We could pay around, well, I think it did say we'd have to pay around £15 million for him, but he is a cheap solution. If Odin Ighalo had been like 4 or 5 years younger, it'd probably cost us a lot more than £15 million, would the player. But, don't forget, we paid around £4 million to get Odin Ighalo on loan, and we are now paying like a third of his wages, because his wages at Shanghai Shenhua are like £300,000 a week. Don't forget, Odin Ighalo's loan spell at the football club expires at the end of this month. It expires at the end of this month. So, I think the season's supposed to be resuming sometime in June. I was reading reports the other week. It said the season's got to resume by the 19th of June, so the season can be completed. These are around 92 games to play in all competitions. Reportedly, they want the season to be ended by the 31st of July, so Champions League and Europa League games can be played in August. But yeah, so reportedly we'll begin negotiations with Shanghai Shenhua, when the season does resume and that. But, I think Odin Ighalo, to be fair, has been a very, very good cover-up for Marcus Rashford. He has been a good cover-up for Marcus Rashford, let's be honest. He's been a very, very good cover-up for Marcus Rashford as Odin Ighalo. And he's a lifelong Manchester United fan. Yeah, he's got 4 goals in 3 starts for the football club. So there you go. So you know the news now, don't you, regarding Odin Ighalo. I give you the news, didn't I, regarding Bruno Fernandes yesterday. It obviously, says that FIFA are investigating our signing of Bruno Fernandes, because Sampdoria claimed that the claim that they are owed £4 million because of the 10% sell-on clause. So obviously, now FIFA are investigating this. It does indicate out there we are not liable for any of the money. So there you go. Because don't forget, Fernandes, before he was at Sporting Lisbon, he was at Sampdoria. And yeah. But like I said, Bruno Fernandes made a difference in the team. He's enjoyed a fantastic start to his Manchester United career. He's got 3 goals and 4 assists so far for the football club as Bruno Fernandes. And he won Premier League Player of the Month for February, reflecting on his good run of performances. And, Fernandes, we paid, £65 million for him, with add-ons included. And don't forget, he signed a 5.5-year deal and that. Also mentioned, didn't I, on my video yesterday, that we are planning to sell around 7 players in the summer. Well, it says from the Daily Star yesterday, I know it's a load of rubbish, but says Solskjaer, could sell up to 7 players in the summer transfer market. I think we're hoping to generate over £100 million for the 7 players that we do get rid of. I've already gone through with you, the players I think Manchester United are going to get rid of. I think we're definitely going to get rid of Phil Jones. We're going to definitely get rid of Lingard. We're going to definitely get rid of Andres Pereira. Hopefully, we can try and get rid of Alexis Sanchez on a permanent transfer. or at least, loan him back out. It's more of imminent that we'll loan him back out because we won't be able to get rid of him on a permanent transfer, reflecting on his substantial wages. I give you the news regarding Sanchez. Reportedly, the Universidad de Chile president's confirmed he wants to finish his career there, so he wants to make a return to Chile. He said that from Sky the other day that Roma are interested in getting Sanchez out on loan, but they won't get him permanently. Like I said, Sanchez endured a very, very difficult year and a half or so because he endured a difficult 18 months at Man United and he's endured a difficult time, with Inter Milan and stuff like that. So I don't want Sanchez back at Manchester United. I think, Delors, he could also possibly go as well, because Delors doesn't really get in the team. He's had a few injuries this season, Diego Delors. He's only made one start in the Premier League this season because he has had a couple of injuries, to be fair. Jose Mourinho recommended Diego Delors in his final transfer window. We paid around £19 million for him from Porto. And Smalling, like I said to you, I think Smalling and Rojo, they'll also go on permanent transfers as well. There's still a chance that Paul Pogba could leave the football club, but I think Paul Pogba will stay at Manchester United because don't forget, Solskjaer did recently say that, he wants Paul Pogba to build a partnership with Bruno Fernandes in our midfield, and he told Paul Pogba he wants to make him a key part of the club's future. Don't forget, before the football season that was suspended, Pogba said he wanted to stay anyway, and he was interested in extending his contract, and Solskjaer said he will remain at Man United next season. But Paul Pogba's had a long-running transfer saga. Obviously, reports were coming out yesterday, regarding Aaron Ramsey, saying that, Aaron Ramsey could come to Man United as part of a swap deal of Pogba going back to Juventus, but actually, Juventus have offered quite a few of their players in a swap deal for Paul Pogba. I think Janik's been mentioned, Douglas Costa's also been mentioned, Adrian Rabiot was mentioned the other week. So there you go. I said if Paul Pogba leaves Man United, he'll go back to Juventus. Doesn't go back to Juventus, I think he will go to Real Madrid in that. Because it said if we lose Pogba this summer, we could only recoup 60 or 70 million pounds for the player. And, we did only pay 89 million pounds for Paul Pogba. So there you go. But yeah, we are going to get rid of players. But credit Solskjaer, he has got rid of a lot of the deadwood, since he's come in. Like I said, Young's gone. Rojo, Smalling, Darmian, Herrera, Fellaini, Lukaku, Sanchez. They've all gone since Solskjaer came in. And also too, Valencia left last summer after he endured 10 years at the football club. Got to credit Solskjaer as well, for the players that he has recommended in so far. He's recommended 5 good players in. And he's endured 3 transfer windows, and he spent around £220 million on 5 players. Last summer brought Daniel James and Wan-Bissaka and Harry Maguire in, and in January he brought Bruno Fernandes and Odion Ighalo in. So he has made 5 good signings at the moment, and Solskjaer's been here 16 months, or it's maybe nearly 17 months now. Yeah, it is nearly 17 months, including the 3 months when he was the interim manager. Solskjaer is planning, to make around 4 signings in the summer transfer market. Because he believes we need around 4 signings to become title contenders. And I don't think we'll make 4 signings in the summer, if I'm going to be quite honest with you. I don't think we're going to make 4 signings in the summer because, like I said, a lot of teams are under financial pressure due to the coronavirus pandemic. So I don't think we'll make 4 signings. We may make 1 or 2 signings in the summer, but Solskjaer believes we need around 4 signings. He has got the backing of Ed Woodward, and he's also got the backing of the Glazers, because Ed Woodward has said numerous times this season that, Solskjaer's job's safe, even though we've enjoyed our worst start to a Premier League season ever. And he's also said, he's willing to back Ole Gunnar Solskjaer because maybe he thinks Solskjaer's a foreseeable future for Man United, So, like I said, yeah. And Ed Woodward has been talking a lot recently, like he said a couple of weeks ago, he told the fans forum that we won't be doing business as usual in the summer transfer market due to the coronavirus. So, and then what he also meant is, we won't be spending hundreds of millions of pounds, so he ruled big transfers out. Woodward came out recently, though, not too long ago, and made a transfer promise to Solskjaer, so he believes we will remain highly competitive in the summer transfer market. Don't forget, he's no longer interested in recommending a director of footballing, so we've abandoned our search for a director of football after searching for 2 years. It's maybe because of the impact Solskjaer's made. This is why, Woodward's no longer interested in getting a director of football in. So, there you go. But like I've said to you, Solskjaer does deserve more time at the football club. You know, he deserves at least a couple of more transfer windows. Don't forget, he still wants to continue the policy of recruiting young British players to Manchester United like he did do last summer and that. I also mentioned yesterday that Solskjaer is responsible for most of his improvements, for most of the improvements at Man United since he came in, because Solskjaer's made improvements. I've seen quite a few changes as well. You know, the likes of Martial, Shaw, Fred, you know, they've all improved under the Solskjaer era. So too Marcus Rashford, he's improved under the Solskjaer era. Because Mourinho had bad disputes with Rashford, Martial and Shaw and that. And Mourinho's got a bad reputation, you know, with the top players. The tactics, you know, the personnel's also changed under the Ole Gunnar Solskjaer era. So yeah, there has been improvements, but there's still things that Solskjaer does need to work on. Don't get me wrong. But he's identified the areas in the squad where he wants to strengthen up. He wants to recommend a forward, a midfielder, and a right winger. There's still some reports saying that, you know, Manchester United could recommend a centre half in. He said quite a few weeks ago, Solskjaer, that we will exploit the transfer market when it does open, you know, to be quite honest with you. Like I said, we are unbeaten in our last 11 games in all competitions. Our best vein of form since Solskjaer was the interim manager. So he was in a good vein of form before the football season got suspended. You know, to be quite honest, he has been suspended since the 13th of March as the football. You know, he's promoted the youth very, very well. That's also another thing, you know, I've been very, very impressed with Solskjaer's promoting the youth, because the young players have been given their opportunities this season. You know, our record against the big six side has also been very, very good in that. But, you know, Solskjaer's our fourth permanent manager since the Alex Ferguson era. Of course, we've sacked 3 managers since the Ferguson era, and that was Moyes, Louis van Gaal and Jose Mourinho. But we haven't really got the structure to keep sacking managers. But if it doesn't work out under Solskjaer next season, that's when I would get rid of him, definitely. But I'm hopeful that we can get, you know, our 21st title under Solskjaer. I'm really, really hopeful that we can. If we can recruit the right players in the next couple of windows, I think maybe in the next 2 to 3 years' time, you know, we can win the Premier League title, because we haven't won the Premier League since 2013. The last time we won it was in Alex Ferguson's last season. But Solskjaer, you know, the longer he remains in the Man United job, he's going to be gaining more managerial experience anyway. So there you go. Obviously, you know, the news regarding Dean Henderson. You know, we've not yet made a decision on his future, by the way. So there. So anyway, guys, drop your comments, likes below on the channel. If you do, consider subscribe as always, and take care. God bless. See you all again very, very soon.